Well, welcome to day 4 of the 21 days of goals. At this point, things can start to get a little bit uncomfortable. You've strung a few days together in a row, but then other tasks, they start to seem urgent. Distractions start to pull away our attention, and maybe you start to have that thought, you know what, I'll do my reading later today. Well, then bedtime comes and you go, oh no, the book's downstairs. Here's the question. Are you the type of person that's going to get out of bed, walk downstairs, and grab your book? Or are you going to let yourself slide all the way back to day 1? Well, here's what I believe. I believe you are the person that gets up, grabs your book, and gets it done. So today we're going to dive into chapter 4, which is clarifying your values. Brian Tracy hits us pretty strong right out of the gate. He says, one of the most important characteristics of a leader and of most successful people in every area of life is that they know who they are, what they believe, and what they stand for. They know who they are, they know what they believe, and they know what they stand for. It's so true. Leaders lead from their values. So here's the question. Do you know your values? Do you know what you stand for? I actually wrote mine in the bottom of the book right here. 5 core values. My 5 are faith, family, growth, wisdom, and discipline. Faith, family, growth, wisdom, and discipline. Those are my values, and they aren't just words. They're filters. They're filters. I filter my life decisions through these 5 core values. They help me make those decisions. They help me prioritize my time. They ensure that my actions align with what matters most to me. If you don't have any core values set, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Google values exercise. Just Google it. You're going to get a number of different lists of words. Those are just going to help get your brain going, but go through them and select your top 5. 5 guiding principles for your life. 5 words that stand out that would be those guiding principles for the journey ahead in front of you. And then what I always encourage people to do is write 1 sentence on each value of why it's a value for you. Because 1 word could mean different things to different people. I'll give you an example. Family is one of mine. The sentence that comes with family is, I want those close to me to think the most of me. Anytime I make a decision, what are those who are close to me going to think? I value their opinion. My family is so important to me. So you do that for each word. And then your 5 words have 5 sentences that become your 5 filters on the decisions that you make. Now, Brian Tracy explains 5 levels of personality in this chapter, and I think this is worth looking into and worth understanding. He says, first, there's our values, which is the foundations of who you are and sums up what you stand for. Then there's beliefs. These are shaped by your values, and they determine how you see yourself. Your beliefs determine how you see yourself and how you see the world. We're all kind of looking through the lens of our belief. The next is expectations, which are shaped by your beliefs. Now, expectations influence what you anticipate in life. That's what he says. They influence what you anticipate in life. The 4th is attitude. We are driven by our expectations. Your emotional response shapes your behavior. That's your attitude. Your emotional responses are the attitudes. I once heard early on, you can control 2 things, your attitude and your activity, how you think and what you do. And that's been very, very important in my journey. I can control my attitude, and it's driven by my expectations. And number 5 is actions. Your outward behaviors are a direct reflection to your inner values, to your beliefs, and to your expectations. Your actions. Your actions are what's going on out here because of what's going on in here. So the 5 levels of personality that Brian Tracy sums up for us are values, beliefs, expectations, attitudes, and actions. Those are all 5 of them. But the insight I want you to get out of this is your actions on the outside are always a reflection of your innermost values, your beliefs, and your expectations. So a lot of times we try to change our actions to get the result we want, but many times we got to go back and change our values. It's what we think is important to us, actually what's important to us. We got to change our beliefs. What do I believe about myself or my situation that isn't true? And your expectations. What are you expecting out of life? What do you think is going to happen and you're anticipating? You got to look at those three things, because then those will influence the actions that you take to get the results that you're getting. Now, if you're not happy with your results, this is a good time. Go back, revisit your values, or Google values exercise and pick your 5 core values. That way you too can have your own filter. So here's how I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it like roots of a tree. Your values are buried beneath the surface. They provide strength and stability and nourishment to everything above the surface. But your beliefs, expectations, attitude, actions, well, those are the branches, the leaves, the fruit of that tree. If your tree isn't producing good fruit, if your actions aren't leading to the result that you want, you can't fix it by trimming the leaves. No, you've got to go back to the roots, your values. If you want to change your fruit, you've got to change the root. So let's look at how we can do that. One of the most powerful exercises that Brian Tracy puts for us here is these 3 questions in this chapter. The first question is, what kind of reputation do you have today? What kind of reputation do you have today? The second question he gives us is, what kind of reputation would you like in the future? And if we look at today versus the future, we're probably going to establish a gap. And that's where the third question comes in. What would you have to begin to do today to create the type of reputation that you desire in the future? There's your action. There's taking action on that, finding the gap and taking action. And these aren't surface level questions. They actually force us to confront that gap, to look at who we are versus who we want to become. That's something powerful to really think about. And that all ties directly into the concept we see here called the ideal self. What does the best version of you look like? And then what current actions do you need to take to be aligned with that best version of yourself? When you do this, you clarify your values, you clarify what is important to you based on where you're going in your journey. Where's your desired destination? And then decision making becomes so much easier because every action you take is aligned with your purpose. So here's our action step. If we go back to the end of the chapter, which is page 51, you're going to see right here you have your action steps and action questions. Let's look at number 1. Make a list of your 3 to 5 most important values in your life today. What do you believe that you stand for? Like I said, you can do an online search for a list of core values. It's going to give you a bunch of words. You can walk through it. You can highlight the ones that resonate with you, and then you can narrow those down to your top 5. Your top 5 core values. And I always tell the leaders that I work with, you got to put that in front of you. You got to find a way that you can see it, whether that's on the front of your cell phone, whether it's sitting on your desk, on your bathroom mirror. Find a way to put it in front of you. These values are going to be your true north. They're going to guide you in those very important decisions that you have to make on a regular basis. So clarifying your values isn't just about knowing them, it's about living them. This is what this chapter is all about. It's about living those values. Remember what I said in the beginning, leaders live their values. So as you reflect on this chapter, I want you to remember when your values are clear, your decisions are easier, and your life becomes aligned with what truly matters. So I want you to stay consistent, stay committed, and keep showing up. And tomorrow we are going to tackle day 5 together. You got this. I'll see you then.